My name's David McMullen. I'm the campaign manager for Help the Commonwealth Veterans 8, which is 8 Fijian veterans who are taking the Ministry of Defence and Home Office to court for a judicial review into having to pay up to £10,000 in visa fees to stay in the country.
And when did you start doing this, and what motivated you to start this campaign?
So I came on board in June. I'd worked on previous military campaigns, including the Free the Chennai 6 campaign, which was 35 people that were imprisoned off the coast of India, of which 6 were British veterans for anti-piracy laws. So we managed to get them released about 3 or 4 years ago, so I had quite a lot of campaign experience from that, and heard about Tayatsu's story actually in the papers when he was facing £50,000 worth of NHS bills, so came on board from there, and yeah, been on it since.
And who is responsible for waiving the fees, and what is your message to them?
So ultimately the Home Office is responsible for fees, so it would be Priti Patel in coordination with Johnny Mercer, who's the Armed Forces Minister. So my message to them would be that we've for years relied on the Commonwealth soldiers to fight our battles with us. I served alongside them in Afghanistan. They fought alongside us. They should be treated exactly the same. We've done the right thing for Afghan interpreters. We've given them citizenship, and now we need to do the right thing for Commonwealth veterans and waive the fees.
Okay, and we saw a high-profile case in the past. For example, the Gurkhas won their fight for citizenship in 2004. Are there any ongoing cases that you think people should be aware of?
Yeah, so you're right. The Gurkha community did win a fantastic battle, but actually are in a similar boat to the Commonwealth soldiers, so they also have to pay these ridiculous fees as well to stay in the country, and it's just unreasonable. So we're aware of lots of other people, although this court case centres on 8 Fijian veterans, there are lots of others that are in a similar position.
Right, we saw also in the Gurkha case that there was a cut-off date. I believe it was 1997. Would you also be fighting against any cut-off dates?
Yeah, so the Armed Forces or the Ministry of Defence has upped their game since 2016, and the advice that they give to Commonwealth soldiers is a lot better now. Previous to that, it was contained in the Service Leaders Guide that sometimes was sent out months after people had left and passed the deadline for applying. So in some cases, 6 months down the line, they suddenly get this document that tells them they should have applied for immigration status 6 months ago, and it's just not good enough. It's been outsourced to a company. Was Hewlett Packard, then it was DXC, and they're just not up to the standard. Basically, it's the same company that introduced the NHS programme that spectacularly failed a few years ago.
And I assume it's the same sort of story with the Windrush as well, that with the Home Office.
Absolutely. I mean, ultimately, what this bubbles down to is an attack on brown people by the government and the hostile environment that contains. But they need to be looking past that and looking at these people as what they are, which are veterans who fought for the country. Okay,
and I read in the press release that 200,000 signatures and £50,000 raised. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, 200. Well, we're just short of 200,000. So if any of your viewers haven't signed, if they can, on the change.org page, we've raised 50,000, which is fantastic. We have to extend the target slightly because at the last court case, the Home Office applied for costs, and we had to pay them £12,600. What's really keen is that these veterans don't have to pay that, so that's why we're fundraising. But listen, we've got all our ducks in a row. The legal guys are separate to us, but they've submitted brilliant documents. Their argument's really strong. We've got the fundraiser. We've got members of the public on support from both political spectrums. The right are very supportive of veterans. The left are very supportive of not having these hostile attacks on Commonwealth people. So everyone but politicians seem to think it's ridiculous.
And you said earlier about the handing your medals back. What made you decide to do that, and what's the process of that?
We had a demonstration here outside Winston Churchill's statue, and it's the first time I'd worn my medals for quite some time. But to be honest, I can't really wear them with the pride that I used to, knowing that the men I fought alongside are being treated like this. So I'll be returning my medals today when I hand in the petition of 200,000 to Johnny Mercer, and then it's up to him what he wants to do with it. I'm not going to be wearing them until we right this injustice.
Thank you. And I don't think I asked you what your role was in the Armed Forces and how long you served.
So I spent 16 years in 7 Rifles as a reserve soldier, having served on Herrick 7, doing force protection out in Afghanistan.